Fascinated by the opulence from the Gilded Age and the charm of collected Victorian maximalist interiors? Today, I'm taking you on a tour inside 2 Victorian maximalist 19th century homes in New York, one of which was featured in HBO's The Gilded Age. From William Morris wallpapered ceilings and wraparound porches to original handcrafted furniture and dramatic architectural details, this tour is full of Victorian design inspiration you won't want to miss. Hi, I'm Allie, and welcome back to Fab Little Dish, where we explore timeless interiors, vintage style decorating, and endless design inspiration. And remember, if you find something inspiring in this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Now let's dive right in. First up is the whimsical Armour-Stiner Octagon house in Irvington, a show-stopping octagonal Victorian with a bright pink dome and a wraparound veranda that feels straight out of a fairy tale. Built in 1872 by tea merchant Joseph Steiner, this isn't your average octagon house. In fact, it's the only fully domed octagonal home in the US, and it was inspired by a 16th century Roman temple, which adds to its enchanting charm. Steiner built this house as a labor of love for his wife and sold it shortly after she died about 10 years later. The property this home sits on is lovely, and it also has a greenhouse and a carriage house. The whole area was just a great escape from the busyness of the city. Take a look at this front porch. It wraps all the way around the house, and the details here are just gorgeous. The carved woodwork, Victorian spindle posts, and the pink and slate blue color combo with all of the details in the trim, a maximalist dream. The 56 red columns that support the veranda roof are one of the features that gives the house its unique Roman temple form. And look at this adorable, playful touch, a replica birdhouse right in the front yard. There are so many details to take in here, already making the maximalist in me so thrilled to step inside. And now we're stepping into the entry hall, where things instantly feel playful, dramatic, and unlike any Victorian home I've ever toured. One of the first things I spotted was this genuine aluminum wallpaper. This metallic sheen softly reflects natural light from the windows, making this historic space feel fresh and luminous. To your left, you'll notice 4 sets of frosted glass doors that open into the solarium. And just look at this grand staircase with this gorgeous statue that instantly gives the space a sense of grandeur. And here you're catching glimpses of these little charming triangular rooms that are these tiny spaces formed by the unique octagonal layout. Carpets were specifically designed here, so I just thought these were so charming, and every single corner is different. Now we're in the salon, and this room is all about gathering. From the soft yellow walls to the ornate painted ceiling overhead, every inch of this space was designed to impress. Look at the incredible stenciled sky mural above, complete with gilded trim, which all reflects the 19th century obsession with layered ornate interiors. You can absolutely see how this room was influenced by the decorative trends that came out of the 1851 Great Expedition in London. There's a real mix of neo-Roman decorative arts, carved woodwork, etched glass, and original period furnishings, all reflecting that high Victorian desire for beauty, status, and storytelling throughout the home. The parlor set is peak Rococo revival with its velvet upholstery, cameo insets, curvy lines. It's luxe but feels like a space meant to be lived in. And I love how the furniture is arranged so these smaller conversation groupings can happen. It shows how the room was used socially during the time, and I can honestly see myself here sipping tea with family and friends. Another main space to show off the family's wealth is the dining room. This space feels warm, inviting, and very aesthetically pleasing. The table is set with cut glass, silver, and porcelain, so much sparkle it practically glows under the chandelier. Here we see that one of those little corner spaces is being used for a kitchen. I love the copper sink that's here, and this classic looking stove is actually electric, so it has been redesigned to be functional for today. The second floor of the Octagon house was designed for family living, more private and more intimate. Up here you'll find a cozy sitting room, 5 bedrooms, a small study, and even 2.5 bathrooms, which feels surprisingly modern for the 1870s. Compared to the more decorative main floor, the second level is a little more restrained. These weren't public entertaining spaces, so while the details are still beautiful, they're just a touch simpler than what you'd see downstairs. But honestly, that contrast makes the whole house feel more layered, lived in, and authentic to the time. As we head up to the third floor, the architecture really starts to shift because we're now inside of the dome. The outer walls curve gently around you, one of the most unique features of this entire house. The bedrooms up here are tucked into the east and west sides with small bathrooms cleverly worked into the corners. Unlike the second floor, these rooms have polished hardwood floors, which adds a warmer, more relaxed feel. And I love this very Victorian collection room. It looks as if we're interrupting someone's studies, and I love that the museum supports local artists and features a new art exhibit in this space throughout the year. But the real showstopper is the Egyptian Revival Music Room, hands down the largest and most dramatically decorated space in the house. It's completely unexpected in a Victorian home, and that's exactly what makes it so unforgettable. This place was glowing maximalist Victorian style. It's like walking into a 19th century decorative art exhibit. And this furniture screams timeless elegance. It's a maximalist dream. One side of the room is designed to amplify music, and the other side of the room even has a French porcelain sink that is used specifically for washing your paintbrushes. This entire space was designed around music and art. Unfortunately, because of fire codes, we weren't able to tour the 5th floor and the observatory, but I still wanted to show you how stunning it is, which really gives you the sense of the home's dramatic architecture and incredible attention to detail. And that wraps up our tour of the Armour-Stiner Octagon house. Now let's head to Yonkers, New York. With the newest season of the Gilded Age right around the corner, I felt it was a perfect time to visit one of the mansions featured in the show, Glenview Mansion. This was Mrs. Astor's house, and we'll be mentioning references to her again later in the tour. This dollhouse used to be displayed in the Glenview Mansion, but now it's on the way to the home within the Hudson Valley Museum. So I thought it would be fun to share this with you all. I'm a sucker for these tiny, recreated period rooms, and I'm always fascinated by the level of detail put into these pieces. This was meticulously crafted by Marco Banks. The house contains over 900 interior objects, including staircases, cross-stitched carpets, and hand-papered walls, drawing inspiration from historic Hudson Valley homes. Now back to Glenview Mansion. This striking stone mansion was built in 1877 by John Bon Trevor as a summer home overlooking the Hudson River. Today it's part of the Hudson River Museum. Glenview blends Victorian eclecticism with a bit of medieval castle core. There's a turreted tower, carved wood balconies, and tall, narrow windows that give off a French chateau energy. The stone was locally quarried, which was a big deal back then, a show of wealth and taste. And that wide cornice with detailed brackets, total Victorian maximalism. It's bold, dramatic, and dreamy. Now this is what I call a grand entrance. The Great Hall at Glenview is a maximalist Victorian dream, filled with ornate carved woodwork, patterned tile floors, and historic lighting fixtures that scream period drama set design. If everything looks a little extra polished and shiny, it's because HBO's crew actually came through and shined up the metal fixtures when they were filming scenes for the Gilded Age. One of the most unique features here is the fireplace. Look closely and you'll see it's tiled with original mint and fairy tale tiles designed by J. Moore Smith. They're just so charming and a whimsical little nod to an otherwise very formal space. It's that perfect blend of Victorian maximalism and decorative storytelling. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to go upstairs since they're private offices of the museum, but I did feel lucky enough to see the entire lower floor of the mansion in all of its maximalist glory. This parlor represented the height of design envy of the 19th century. Every inch is wrapped in rich pattern, texture, and Victorian elegance, reflecting the full influence of the aesthetic movement. You've got stenciled ceilings, patterned wallpaper, luxe details, and carved furniture, each element designed to create one cohesive, immersive look. It feels like you're walking through a William Morris showroom, and that's not an accident. The design was heavily influenced by Morris himself, along with Charles Eastlake and Bruce Talbot. If If this space looks familiar, it should. It was featured in the Gilded Age towards the end of the second season when Mrs. Astor hosts a small discussion in this room. The production team barely had a thing to touch in here. This space was already giving period drama perfection vibes. The dining room is total Gilded Age eye candy. It's moody, dramatic, and full of texture, giving major Victorian meets medieval inspiration. The deep green walls make everything pop, especially those intricate gold drapes and layered oil portraits. And just like the Great Hall, there's walnut wainscoting and timbered ceiling that ties the two spaces together beautifully. Welcome to the sitting room, arguably the most feminine and romantic space in the entire mansion. It's tucked into a soft curve of the house with tall lace-draped windows that frame a postcard-perfect view of the Hudson River. Just imagine curling up in one of these pink tough chairs, tea in hand, soaking in the light, and letting the view inspire you. The decor here leans fully into Victorian Gilded Age elegance, ornamental woodwork, floral wall molding, glass front display cabinets, and delicate fringe trimmed upholstery. Every piece speaks to a time when beauty was built into the everyday. And even though this room feels cozy and quiet, it still reflects the era's obsession with balancing detail and design in harmony. This room is Victorian moody perfection. The deep-toned built-ins and crimson velvet drapes set the tone, rich, layered, and beautifully over the top. If you watch The Gilded Age, you will also recall that this is where Mrs. Astor threw her invitation for Mrs. Russell in the fire. So spicy.
Did you go? Don't be ridiculous.
The cabinetry is a total statement piece, filled with art, books, sculptures, trinkets, and blue and white ceramics that pop against the dark finish. It's maximalism done perfectly. The room is moody, it's ornate, and it has the kind of maximalist details that's inspiring the resurgence of that Victorian collected style we're seeing today. And that wraps up our tour of two beautiful Victorian Maximalist mansions in New York. I hope you loved this peek into Gilded Age splendor, and if you loved this, there are more Gilded Age mansion tours on the horizon. So if you are just as obsessed with historic homes and maximalist interiors as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a thing. Until next week, my friends, au revoir and happy decorating.